My delusional friend's girlfriend tricked him into letting her get her pipes filled by her side pee-pee. I told him he deserved to get his butt beat when he tried to get his girl back. My friend, Mark, has recently been having a lot of relationship troubles with his girlfriend, Leah. They got together back in February of this year, and their relationship has become a complete train wreck. Mark was, and still is, head over heels for Leah. He has told me and my other friends that she is definitely the one and that he eventually plans on marrying and settling down. This all seemed both premature and immature to me, but it's beside the point. Leah, on the other hand, is a nightmare. She's cheated on Mark several times now, and every time she does, she gives Mark some lame story about him not being supportive enough, or that she made a mistake, or that she wanted to see him get jealous for her sake. He gobbles it up every time. According to Mark, Leah largely acts like this because her father was very abusive towards her and her mother, and therefore she carries a lot of trauma with her. Mark constantly reiterated that he wants to help her work past that, but things haven't really been going his way. Since September, Leah has been seeing this other guy, Derek, and she's 100% infatuated with him. I only know this based on what my other friends, and Mark, have been telling me because I was in another state for college. Mark has been arguing a lot with Leah about Derek, and she has threatened to leave Mark if he doesn't just simply accept her for who she is. He did. Not only that, he and Leah have entered what he calls a semi-open relationship. This means, according to Mark, that Leah is allowed to see Derek as much as she wants, but Mark isn't allowed to see anyone else. This is because Leah feared Mark would become emotionally invested in them and leave her. Mark begrudgingly agreed to this and has been seething for months about it. Since about November, Leah has been seeing Derek more than she does Mark. While Mark doesn't admit to it, our other friends have told me that she is essentially in a full-time relationship with Derek and only comes to Mark for money and emotional support. Fast forward to this week, and I'm back home for the break. Mark started texting me on Saturday, saying that he hated Derek for trying to steal his girl and wanted to beat his butt that night. He said that he wanted me to come along since all of our other friends couldn't. They made up excuses not to go. They have told me this, but Mark doesn't know. Since I just got back home the day before, I was still exhausted, so I point-blank refused Mark's request. I told him that Leah was a lost cause, and I wasn't going to fight some people I'd never seen for her. Mark started begging me, saying that Leah is the love of his life and that he needs my help. I refused again. He then says that he'll go on his own, but I told him that he probably shouldn't. I woke up Sunday morning to more than 300 messages on my phone from Mark and all our friends. Long story short, Mark went over to Derek's place to bring Leah back. He ended up getting his butt kicked by Derek and his friends. They only stopped when Leah asked them to. I called Mark and told him that he should probably talk to a lawyer or something, but he refused since Leah asked him to not escalate the situation. I then told him that he was being dumb, and this triggered him so much. He started saying how I was a B-word and a snake for not backing him up and how I was a fake friend. I was so irritated at this point, so I told Mark that he deserved to get jumped and that it made sense why Leah preferred Derek over him. He hung up on me, and we haven't spoken since. Since then, my other friends have been saying that I'm a jerk for how I handled the conversation, but they do agree Mark is an idiot. Update: my delusional friend's girlfriend tricked him into letting her get her pipes filled by her side pee-pee. I told him he deserved to get his SS beat when he tried to get his girl back. Mark is now getting tricked by Leah to be the baby daddy to her other man's kid. Some of my friends and I ended up going out with Mark to see how he was doing. We didn't want to go to his parents' place since Leah was now living there with him and we didn't want to see her. He does look very beaten up, black eye, bruises all over his face and arms, busted lip, etc., but he was surprisingly in a good mood and even insisted that I didn't have to apologize for how I spoke last time. He told us that Derek ended up dumping Leah a few days after the fight. Apparently, he asked Leah to dump Mark. She refused, and they argued, "I'll spare you most of it." Their conversation ended with Leah being kicked out of his apartment in the middle of the night, and Mark had to come pick her up. He has refused his parents, and our request to escalate the situation at Leah's request. Mark has said that Leah has been very depressed about Derek dumping her and spends a lot of the days crying. Mark just says he's incredibly thankful to be there to comfort her and emotionally support her. He keeps on saying that when it comes down to it, Leah chose him over Derek, and nothing can take that away. As I said above, Leah has decided to return to living with Mark. She can technically go to her mother's house but doesn't want to. Here's the real kicker: Mark says that he has a very good reason to believe Leah might be in the early stages of pregnancy now. My friends and I assumed the child was Derek's, but Mark insisted that regardless, it would be his kid. We asked him to get paternity testing, and he has refused since he can't do that to Leah. We've told him that the relationship is toxic, but he didn't want to hear it since that was a matter of perspective. Also, his parents have no clue about the potential pregnancy. He says that in the future, he doesn't want us to say anything about Leah unless it is the absolute truth, his speech of singing her praises. My other friends and I all left pretty stunned, and I'm thinking that at this stage, I'll slowly be removing myself from Mark's life. It sucks since I've known him for a long time and do enjoy his company. But I don't think I'll be able to remain friends with him in good faith if I'm not able to speak honestly to him.